Hi, 7th grade. Welcome to Topic 1, Lesson 8, Divide Integers. By the end of the lesson, I want you to be able to say, I can divide integers. So explain it. The shapes below are used to show the relationship between each of the four equations in the same fact family. Suppose the purple star represents -24. What values could the other shapes represent? What do you know about the square and circle if the star represents a negative number? And what do you know about the star if the square and circle both represent a negative number? Okay, so to show us the fact family, I want you to answer A, B, and C on your own. Pause the video and press play when you're ready to go over it. Okay, if the star represents -24, so star equals -24. We got to figure out what the blue square is and what the red circle is. Okay, well, I need things that multiply to 24. Well, they show us on the fact family 8 times 3. So if the blue square equals 8, the red circle would have to equal 3. But it's multiplication and the answer is negative. So one of them has to be negative and one has to be positive. So it could be -8 and +3, or it could be +8 and -3. Okay. What do you know about the square and circle if the star represents a negative number? Well, if the star represents a negative number, then the square or circle must be negative, not both. What do you know about the star if the square and circle both represent a negative number? Well, that would be a negative times a negative, so the star would be positive. Let's focus on math practices. Suppose the square represents -8 and the circle represents 3. What do you know about integer multiplication and the relationship between multiplication and division to write the complete fact family? Well, the square is -8 and the circle is +3, which means the star would be negative. And we can write this fact family down. So it would be -8 times 3 equals -24. But we can flip it around and say -24 divided by -8 equals 3, or -24 divided by +8. -24 divided by +3 equals -8. Today we're going to talk about division and what that looks like, but notice the pattern. When you divide two negative numbers, you get a positive answer. Oops. When you divide two negative numbers, you get a positive answer. When you divide a negative and a positive, you get a negative answer. Example 1. Divide integers with different signs. A machine drill is used to access water under the ground. If the machine drills the same distance each day, what is the change in the location of the bottom of the hole each day? So each time it goes down 40. So the first time down 40, second time down 40, third time. We found that 40 by knowing we went down a total of 160 4 times. So doing -160 divided by 4, noticing that you could write it as a multiplication. 4 times what equals -160? Should be -40. So here's important When dividing integers with different signs, the quotient will be negative. You could also have just put this in your calculator. Let's try it. Suppose the machine drilled the same distance into the ground for 3 days and reached water at 84 feet below ground level. What was the change in the location at the bottom of the hole each day? All right, so we are trying to figure out what negative 84 divided by 3 is. Or to write it as multiplication, 3 times what equals negative 84? Is our answer going to be positive or negative? Negative. Okay. So I'm going to get out my calculator and do negative 84 divided by 3 gives me negative 28. So I know negative 28 times 3 is negative 84. So negative 84 divided by 3 equals negative 28. So I'm down 28 and down 56. So each day the location of the bottom of the hole changed by negative 28 feet or decreased by 28 feet. Explain why the quotient of two integers with different signs is negative. Because positive times a negative equals a negative, which we already know from the last 2 lessons. So a negative divided by a positive equals a negative. Or a positive divided by a negative equals a negative. If the signs don't match, the answer is going to be negative. Divide integers with the same sign, so in the same sign, they match. So simplifying negative 27 divided by negative 3. Well, they're writing it as a multiplication. Negative 3 times what gives me negative 27? We know that's 9. Or you can just divide. Negative 27 divided by negative 3. A negative divided by a negative equals a positive. When dividing integers with the same sign, the quotient will be positive. So let's try these 3 on your own, A, B, and C. Okay, hopefully you got negative 40 divided by 5 is positive 8. 40 divided by negative 5 is negative 8. And 0 divided by negative 40 is just 0. Write equivalent quotients of integers. Are the following quotients equivalent? Justify your answer. Well, remember I talked about this in the last lesson. When we have a negative fraction, either the numerator or the denominator is negative, not both. So it says, try it. Which of the following are equivalent to negative 5? Well, 55 divided by 11, that's a positive divided by a positive. So that's going to be a positive answer. This is equivalent. This one is equivalent. This is a negative divided by a negative. So that's a positive. This is equivalent. And here we have a negative divided by negative. So that's going to be a positive 5 inside. Sorry. All right. On the next page, the rules for dividing integers are related to the rules for multiplying integers. So if the signs are the same, the quotient is going to be positive. If the signs are different, the quotient is negative. So I hope everybody can say, I can divide integers. Try it on 3. 1, 2, 3. I can divide integers. Have a great day.